What's good, guys? LM7 here, doing the May the 4th promotional set, I guess. Well, it's not really promotional, you have to pay for this one for a lot. But anyway, it is the newest Ultimate Collector's Series set, the Assault on Hoth. So there's a lot to get into and a lot to talk about, but hopefully we'll find all the time to get into everything I need to say. So, ages 12 plus, and that is probably an understatement, but 75098 Assault on Hoth, 2,144 pieces, and cost $249.99. Now, there's nothing real crazy on the front of the box except for seeing everything. You can see our Disney logo in the bottom right corner, and the Ultimate Collector's sticker right there. Now, I'll just flip it to the back and leave it like that, so you can see, you know, some of the features and all that fun stuff and yada yada yada. I'm trying to lower this a little bit. The lighting is a little weird. Anyway, okay. And regardless, let's get moving. All right. So, to start off, we have our giant manual to build. You can see a better look at the box right here. It's the booklet. It is, in total, just so you know, because it'll take you quite a long time, so be prepared. It has 293 pages. And there's the final digital model. It actually takes up 2 pages, which is kind of cool. But, I wanted to read something, because it has all this information in the front, and I just wanted to read something for you. Where is it? Oh, here it is. From the designer, it's talking about how big the battle is and all that fun stuff. And it's talking about all the essential things. And a lot of initial complaints is it's called Assault on Hoth, but there's not much really assault. And I'll get to that in just a second. But what most people mean is there's no AT-AT. And those are very iconic to the Battle of Hoth, and that's what they wanted to do with this set. So for them not to have one in here, it's kind of a bummer. But they originally wanted the set to come out last year. So then this statement, a new AT-AT just came out last year, so you can still replay the whole battle in style. So, unfortunately, that got retired last November. And, yeah. So, obviously, the set was intended for last year release, but was pushed back for who knows what reason. So, there's that. First off, I want to state, this should not be an Ultimate Collector's set. Now, if you've read anything about the set, you've probably read a billion negative comments about it, and you'll get my opinions on all that kind of stuff when I get into the actual parts and pieces. But all I'm going to say is this shouldn't be an Ultimate Collector set. If they just took off the sticker and said it was just a big play set, it would have been fine. But anyway, let us get into our ton of minifigures that we got. Okay, so the light wants to be stupid. I'll just apologize for this real quick. Changing all the lighting. Okay, how about this? Does this work any better? And works better. Alright. So here's our first minifigure. It is Luke Skywalker in Hoth gear. It's nothing crazy special about him. You can see his torso detail is pretty nice. His back detail. He's got his lightsaber and a dual-sided face. So there's when he gets beat up by the Wampa. But other than the second-sided face, the hurt, injured one, this Luke is pretty boring. He doesn't have leg printing. And his face is very generic. If they would have done a little better on the face, I felt, I mean, Luke is very iconic to the Battle of Hoth, but I feel like that minifigure should have been better. Our next minifigure is Han Solo. Now, he is new to this set, and you might be saying, no, he's not. That's the same one from Attack on Hoth, or 75-138. It's close. He doesn't have the hood, and they printed it on the back, so that is the only difference, which technically makes him new. But the hooded one, I believe, is better. The little promotional Han Solo that we got. But I feel like the Han Solo is really the best minifigure in the set. So, whatever. Our next minifigure is Wes Jansen. Now, he's a minifigure we don't get. I don't think we've ever gotten one of him. And, that'd be cool. Because they even, they customized his helmet, which is nice. But other than that, he's got standard X-Wing fighter gear on, or Rebel fighter gear, whatever you want to call it. And the main complaint about him is his face. And you might be saying, but, that's a pretty generic face. I mean, it's pretty detailed for a generic face, but, what's the problem? Well, if you look at the other pilot minifigure we get in the set, which is Wedge Antilles, he actually has the same face. So that's kind of a bummer. The only difference between him and the other one is the helmets. Wedge's actually has a little different color scheme. But other than that, he is the same minifigure. Probably I have to say the second best new minifigure in the set that people would actually want is Torin Farr. You see her commanding in, obviously, Episode 5, but in the control room. I don't really know why they use that hairpiece, but whatever. I mean, she's pretty generic too, but just to say they actually included her in the set is pretty nice. The big minifigure that everyone will want, but most people probably get on eBay or something, I gotta look at his letters. R3A2. And he actually has a translucent head, it's a nice touch. I like the orange, I like the blue eye. They did a really great job on him. But he doesn't have any back printing, but I can get over that. That's nothing crazy. Next we have a updated K3PO. I keep showing him like this so you can actually see that they put a different color for his eyes. Other than that, he's pale ghost white, except for the two little dots also on his chest. But it's good to have an updated version of him too. Then, this is the first Snow Rebel Trooper we see. On the box he's only labeled as Rebel Officer, but he does have a name. It escapes me at this moment in time. I'll remember when I'm done with this, but he's the only, Rebel Trooper who's wearing different gear. But he's a pretty nice minifigure, using the same Rebel helmets that they've been using for a while now. And then we got a couple standard Rebels. There's just a regular Rebel Trooper, and then another one, but he's got a beard. So, I mean, the faces are nice. They did put good, design in the faces of the minifigures. This one's a little bland, but he has a different gun. He also doesn't get a backpack. And his torso is a little different than the last one. This one goes back to the first trooper I showed. Same color scheme, just a different face, a little older. More Han Solo-like. I'm just speeding through these guys because they're pretty insignificant except for their faces. Here's another one of the tan printed torso troopers. This one has a nice mustache and beard, kind of orangey in color, but he also gets a pistol, but doesn't have a backpack. And then the final two minifigures in the set, you get our snowtroopers, the updated version with the helmets that are not huge and clunky. So just like that. But he also has a standard clone trooper face. And you get two of them, just because it's called Assault on Hoth, and that's what I meant by that. There should be more Empire to go with it. I believe, and so does everyone else mainly. Our next kind of creature minifigure, you get a Tauntaun. We've seen him before. There's nothing new about him, but still nice to have a couple. I think this is my third or fourth one. I think the fourth one actually, but he's pretty decent. I'll just put him over there, and then for the second time, you actually get a Wampa. We've only seen him in the Hoth Wampa Cave, so he's actually a pretty welcome minifigure to get. And, you know, his detailing is very nice and all that fun stuff. So, if we zoom back into the set, I'm going to try and fix this lighting problem because it's irritating to me. Is it better? Is that better? Sure. I'll take it. Alright, so we'll do the small assault section, I guess. The Empire section. So for the Empire, you get a... I'll zoom in a little bit. There we go. You get a normal speeder bike. It has some stickers on the top, as you can see right there. But other than that, pretty basic design. We've seen it about 1 billion times. But they added another piece right here, and it makes the front a little more sturdy, which is nice, but I feel like they always just throw in a speeder bike and an E-Web blaster for the snowtroopers and say they're done. But they could have... I have a theory later on of what they should have done for this set, and I'll get to that, like I said, at the end. So our second thing for the stormtroopers, well, the snowtroopers, excuse me, is an E-Web blaster. It's newly designed. I like the way it looks, but there is a small problem with that. But before I get to the small problem, if you open up this little container, you can see that there's studs in it. So that's a cool little feature that they put on there. You can actually store the studs, because of course they had to slap a stud shooter on the top. I think it looks okay. I mean, some people think it's kind of ugly. The only problem I have with the E-Web blaster, it's not really the charging station that's off to the side. It's more the fact that the gun is like hugely proportioned to the snowtroopers, so it's just too big. But I like the way it looks. So there's a positive and a negative for you. So, oh, before I forget, you get a brick separator. But you already knew that because this is a big set. So what do I want to get into? I'm going to just throw the minifigures off to the side. When we get to them, I will put them where I need them to go to show features and whatnot. Alright, so we have this little cart. And this is the first time this little cart is ever made. And I think they did a great job on it, actually. It just carries around 2 crates and a driver, accurate to the movie. In each crate, there's stuff, as you can hear. There's 2 small pistols in the first one and 2 binocular sets in the second one. But other than that, it's just a small little hover cart. It does have wheels on the bottom, so it does drive somewhat decently. So you can see it kind of drives a little bit. This set has so much stuff, it's really hard to like get it all shown, but I'll explain everything. So we'll go on to the next little section, and it is the Hoth Wampa Cave section. And while probably not necessary for the set, I think they did a pretty good job on this little section. While it's scaled down, it's very nice and mimics the bigger one, which is another thing I'm going to talk about. I'm going to tell you when they took something from an older set and put it in here, and then I will do a video later on comparing everything to this set to everything they took from older sets. But anyway, in, what was it, 2010, they released the Wampa Cave, which is a bigger set, but it had all the same features. So, take our good boy Luke. And you can hang Luke from the top, just like the old set did. And you put his lightsaber right there, and if you push it down, it'll kind of shoot the thing out, but it doesn't really work great. That feature could have been fixed since the last time, but they just kind of threw it together. And it does connect to the main base, and I'll show that towards the end. But that's it for that. I guess I'll show this is the front side. Not much detail on the front. You can see some ice and rock and snow. But there's that. Our next little section is a little snowbank with a little clip, so it does connect to the main base. But on there, we have this turret, which is pretty much a direct rip-off from the set that came out this year, the Hoth attack, 75-138. It's pretty much the same turret we get in that, so makes that one kind of useless now. I mean, if you want to add it, I guess, why not? But other than that, it's the same turret. It's got the same two spring-loaded shooters on either side, and you can open up and put a minifigure inside, exactly like the old one, and you actually get 2 of those in the set. A cool feature, though, however, on a positive side, is unlike that set, you can just remove it. So you can see all around the set there's these 3 little studs that you can change the gun placements for. So you can actually take the turrets off and put new turrets on. So I will show you real quick. See, I removed both the turrets, and either one can fit on there, and any of the other gun placements can actually fit on there. I have a preference to where I like them, but I will show different configurations as we get to different sections. So, there's that. There's the little Wampa Cave and the little gun turret. Here's the section most people are disappointed about. Just because we've had so long to think about this set, people were thinking it was going to be mainly this. But this is the control station, a little control room. You can see the computer panels. I don't know why they put missiles here. It kind of makes it look ugly, in my opinion, slapping the missiles there. But I guess might as well use the space somehow. But it's not much. Pretty much a computer panel, basically. And there's little clips you can store your guns and whatnot. And I guess I will put Torn Far on there. Might as well. And then K3PO and the Astromech droid, wherever he went. Here he is. I mean, there's plenty of room to fit the 3 people. I'm just going to put them like that. But, see, now they're chilling. And this does connect to the main section of the base too. And I'll get to that later. This does not have any gun emplacement positions. Our next little section. So we have the cave, the little snow bunk, drift, whatever you want to call it, the control room, and then we have the Tauntaun feeding area and like loading bay. So this is kind of cool. I kind of like the feature. It's really not needed, but I like the feature. So we have the spinning crane, and this is meant to, obviously you can see it moves in all kinds of different directions. It's meant to take the little crates off the hover cart, and it actually does slide back and forth. That's actually nice. And then that's our Tauntaun feeding station, just some leaves and an open area where you can put your Tauntaun. This also connects to the base, and like I said at the end, I'll connect all the different sections, but they could have left this out and used the pieces for something else. They could have included the Tauntaun still, but this whole section is pretty irrelevant to put in there. And that's not iconic. Like I read all the stuff in the beginning of the instruction booklet, and the designer said he wanted everything iconic. Feeding the Tauntauns is not very iconic in the Battle of Hoth. But that's just me. Anyway, so my real only disappointment of the set is this section, and it's the shield generator. Now, it looks nice. And people are saying it's not big enough. Well, obviously not big enough. They made one actual size, it would be the entire set. And that's kind of boring. They can make a totally different set, the shield generators plus an AT-AT, and that could be another big set. But that's something else. I like the size of this shield generator. However, they're missing one. There should be a fourth one. There is not. That's disappointing and poor design because all they had to do was extend this a little bit and add a fourth one. Like, they wouldn't have even had to change the function that much to do it. But I will zoom back out a little bit and show you the function. So basically, what you're supposed to do is, if you have the other AT-AT, which I happen to have, it's supposed to destroy the shield generator. So there's a little lever here, and I'll show it up close in a second. But if you hit the lever, you actually destroy the shield generator, and it's kind of cool. The top one actually didn't fall over, but there we go. And they're actually not connected by anything. There's just three of the same thing. This is actually the shield generator in all of its... Hello? There we go. Can we... There we go. In all of its glory. This is the shield generator. Nothing special, but they just sit on there, however you want to position them. But there's nothing special about them, so... But, I mean, I like the little section. It's not bad, and the function's pretty cool. It works nicely. If they just would have added a fourth one, it would have been pretty decent, in my opinion. Now, another section that got a lot of complaints is the ion cannon that protects the ships leaving from the incoming Star Destroyers. Now, I think, like, in person, it looks a lot better than any picture can represent. Granted, the cannon itself, like the gun itself, is hideous. They just wanted to pack more missiles into it, but it actually doesn't make it better. They should have focused more on designing the gun than doing that. Like, the snow underneath it's nice and everything. And even this circular thing, like, people complain it's weird looking. It's actually pretty nice in person, I believe, anyway. That's just my opinion. I think it's better up close than from pictures. But the cannon is horrendous. But anyway, the features is you can angle the cannon however you want. You can see it does move up and down. And you can actually put a minifigure inside. There's a little Star Destroyer. I think that's kind of a cool little sticker. There's a couple stickers in this set. Not terrible, man. I think there's like 20 total. But you can fit a minifigure in there nicely and shut the thing. My only complaint about this is hideous. This is disgusting. Like, you see all the Technic and all the gross... Like, there's just not even anything here. You can see the green. You should not be able to see that. I can understand maybe the dark red and the black, but you should not be able to see the green Technic beams in there. You're supposed to cover all that up. That's my end rant for that. Otherwise, I also think this is pretty decent. If they just would have filled the back in and made the gun... I can even live with the gun. But before I finish, let's do the feature. All you have to do to shoot the flick-fire double missiles is you pull this red lever down, and it actually double fires, which is kind of cool. I only fired one just there, but if you press the lever all the way down, you actually fire both. I just don't want to lose them, and there's a lot of stuff around here, so... Anyway, you guys know I always lose stuff like that. But that's it for the ion cannon. Next up is the main snow bunker. And this section is actually very nice. I like the way it folds and bends and everything. It's basically a bigger version of the Hoth attack set we got. But I can live with that. This is pretty cool. I actually don't mind this. So, you can see there's little computers and stuff all around and all that stuff. And you can see the turret. This one right here. I have something to say about that one in a second. And this is where I put the other cannon that they stole directly from the other set. And then you have two of these little gun emplacements. Now, you can actually rearrange all four of these gun emplacements. And I'm going to do so right now, actually. So let's focus back out so you can see what I'm doing. And these little ones don't actually have the same type of thing that the bigger ones do, but you can see there are only a couple studs, and that's the gun itself, nothing crazy. But you can take all of them off. And I'll show this gun too, I guess, before I change them all. I don't like the way this one looks. They took this gun directly from 75014. It was Battle of Hoth or something like that. That's the name of that set. They took this, and that version was better. I don't like the armor plating here. I think it looks ugly. And they just had to slap a 6 stud shooter on there. That was unnecessary. But whatever. I mean, overall, it doesn't look bad. It's just the other one looks way better. So, and then this is the other turret I took off. But, as you can see, I took all the guns off. And now if I lift this up, see, I removed them all, and you can see the 4 different places. Those are random studs that fell. And I can simply just put them anywhere I want now. So that's pretty cool. As you can see now, I just rearranged all of them. You saw me move them all. And you get, of course, extra studs. About 1 billion of them. But whatever. That's it for the little bunker. I'll flip it around this way, so if you're on the other side of the bunker, you can see what we see. But, I mean, it's pretty flat. I mean, there's some snow drifts and whatnot. That's basically the guns. For this gun, to do the feature, it does move up and down, by the way. If you spin this, you'll actually fire the 6 studs, but I'm not going to do it because I'll lose them. And it rotates, obviously. And so does this one. It rotates on its thing. So, now we move this off to the side. And we go on to our next little section, which is the snow speeder. Basically the same thing as the one that came out in 2014, except it has the orange color scheme and looks pretty nice, actually. It's nice to have 2 snow speeders that are actually of the same era of building snow speeders, so they're pretty good. The cockpit could use a new piece now. I mean, they've been using the same one since it was designed forever ago, but other than that, it's your basic snow speeder. Fit 2 people in there. And the pilot's blasters are in there as well. And his little flaps open, and there's some sticker detail in there. But other than that, there's nothing crazy about the snow speeder. It does have 2 missiles on the bottom too, and a stud shooter and harpoon on the back. That's basically it for the snow speeder. If you've seen my review on the 75049 snow speeder, it's basically that one, but with orange. But that's not bad. I expected a snow speeder because it's the Battle of Hoth. You kind of have to have snow speeders. Well, let's get into the big section, like the base part. It's actually just the door. This is basically the 2007 set 7666. It's basically that, but magnified to a bigger extent. Now, that's actually good, because we haven't had that set for like 9 years. That's fine. That is actually very nice, and the front looks very, it's good. Except for this. This little turret right here, or it's not a turret, it's an lookout post. I'll show the feature in a second, but you can see it goes up and down. That lookout post, stupid. The designer only put it in there because it's from Yavin 4, so he thought it would probably fit on there too. No, wrong. But here's the back. If you spin these gears, the door does open and close, and it fits pretty nicely. It gets stuck just a little bit sometimes. I don't like that you can see all the beams on the back, but I can live with that. This section and this section, they could have also filled that in to cover up the gears, so I don't love that either. But I can deal with that. I'd rather them do that and make the front look great and whatever. The only problem I have with the door is that the snow speeder doesn't fit very well. It barely fits. You have to. It does fit, but you have to be careful with it. So that's it for features and stuff. Oh, I forgot this. Real quick, I'll show this. You lift this up and you flip this switch. You can keep that little lookout post up. But I don't like that up. And you can also put guns on the top, the turrets. There are different little sections right there too. It actually shows that on the box. So if you look at the front of the box, you can see that. Anyway, I'm going to connect everything up, and that's about it for this set. It's not a terrible set. It's not an Ultimate Collector set. I don't believe it should be. That was a mistake on Lego's part, and delaying the release. That was a problem. But as a playset, it's pretty good. If you missed some Hoth sets, this will cover it up. Overall, as a collector set, not so much. But overall, it's decent. If you're hesitant about it, I say just get it. I think it's better in person. But anyway, before my camera tells me I don't have any more room, I'm going to connect everything. So you can easily connect it. There's little pegs all over the entire thing. So this section just snaps on here. I killed K3PO, but that's alright. The Wampa Cave fits right next to it, which is kind of dumb. But, you know, it doesn't have to be crazy accurate. So there's that. You can connect those two sections. And then you can connect this section here. Like, I can get it like this. And that connects onto that part. And then if you flip it around, you can connect the little gun emplacement and the cannon via the clips. Where is it? Here it is. This clip allows you to connect it. So put that clip on. Do the same clips on the ion cannon, and you clip that on there too. And then everything is connected. That is it for the assault on Hoth. I hope my opinions helped you decide whether if you want to get it or not. There will be a comparison video comparing it to everything that they took from this set to others. So stay tuned for that in a while. But other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.